Hello, everybody, and welcome to Cardinal Conversations, the podcast that introduces you to interesting and influential people in the specialty of physical medicine and rehabilitation. I'm Dr. Darryl Kaelin, professor and endowed chair at the University of Louisville, and we come to you today from the Annual Assembly of the American Academy of Physical Medicine and Rehabilitation, a meeting of over 2,500 physicians in our specialty, and I'm fortunate to have across from me today a good personal friend and an amazing physician in DJ Kennedy. DJ, welcome.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Absolutely. Well, listen, you're a past president of this amazing academy. You are. Well, thank you, sir. You are chair of physical medicine and rehabilitation at Vanderbilt. I understand you are now leading the physician practice plan there, all of which just tells me you're a glutton for punishment.
It's hard to say no sometimes.
Absolutely. Tell me a little bit about the path that led you to PM&R, to spine care, and then ultimately to the leadership roles you found yourself in.
Yeah, it's a fun story, right? I think like most people, I had no idea what our great field was when I started med school. My background, I was a strength conditioning coach before I went to medical school. Right. My beloved Seminoles. Hard year football wise, but and went to med school liking musculoskeletal medicine and a variety, and everyone kept telling me I was going to be an orthopedic surgeon, and it just didn't fit. And I liked neurology, and was blessed to find great mentors and the field of PM&R. And went into it. And knew I wanted to do academic medicine, and decided to do sports and spine, right? For a variety of reasons, but I just matched my background a little bit better, and really wanted to also do a lot of research in that area to help advance the field. And one thing led to another, and next thing I know, I'm a spine doctor, right. And could go a lot more depth, but it would get boring really quickly. Well,
and I know your route, like a lot of ours, is a little circuitous. I think we all like to think that our first job might be our last job, but the reality is sometimes, especially as you move up the ladder in leadership, you have to make changes and adjustments. And for me, that was from Indiana to Atlanta to back to Louisville. For you, I know you went out to the West Coast for a period of time.
Yeah, I when I left the University of Washington as a resident to do my fellowship, the plan was to come back.
Right.
And then the state, there was a state hiring freeze and couldn't go. So then I'm like, where am I going to go? I ended up in Florida, and was there for a couple of years. I was very keen on being sports and spine, so right. I did both. And then it really didn't go well. There were some changes in chairs and things just didn't go well. And that combined with I was recruited to go out to Stanford. And they said, well, we need you to be a spine doctor here. Yeah. And I said, well, that's good. I like spine. It gave me the ability to interpret EMGs, to do interventional care, to think holistically, and just treat patients in a different way. And went out there and really liked it quite a bit. Wasn't looking to move, and right. Vanderbilt came calling, and we moved to Vanderbilt. So I've moved all around and enjoyed and grown as a physician and a person by doing that.
Yeah. Well, and you and I have known each other for quite a while, but I'm personally very happy that DJ's moved back to the South. He's just about 3 hours south of me, and we have a lot of things in common. Your opportunity now in seeing academic medicine from a general perspective, because you're not just focusing on PM&R anymore, you're looking at the physician practice plan within a academic healthcare system. What do you see as some of the challenges that academic medical centers are facing, as well as some opportunities?
Challenges wise, we have historically funded the mission being education and research, off of the clinical margins.
Right.
That has been how we have done this in academic medicine. And, that is challenging.
Right.
When healthcare costs are rising 10 to 13% on a per annum basis, not sustainable. So all kinds of changes are happening now that are driving down the margin, which will have effects on healthcare, but probably disproportionately affect mission-driven organizations like both of ours that need to do services that maybe don't reimburse as well, that train individuals and do research, all of which cost money to
Absolutely.
Do. And I think figuring out how to navigate that in the best way forward is our challenge and our opportunity.
Right.
And we're currently in an era, I think, of a revolution with AI. Meaning, if you really go back, the online, a lot of the things we've gone through have moved us forward, but not really been revolutions and workflow patterns and what's going to happen. And I think this one will do it in a lot of ways.
Yeah, I agree.
So I think that's an incredible opportunity for us. And being in academics, I like focusing on not just what makes the most money or how do we do this, but really thinking holistically, how do we take care of the patients we need to serve? How do we train? How do we advance the specialties? And when I say specialties, all of them.
All right.
All of them are equally important, and we need to do that. And that's a fun thing to think about.
Absolutely. Well, physical medicine rehabilitation is a specialty that is so technology driven and focused.
Yep.
And I think your point about AI is spot on. I do believe that it's going to allow us to use our minds more and spend less time doing all of the ancillary documentation and things that really don't bring value to our practice. So I'm hopeful that it will actually see an improvement in practice satisfaction going forward.
Absolutely. We know there's a doctor shortage.
Yeah.
That's not going to be solved easily. I mean, doctors take a long time to train.
Right.
College, med school, residency. Yeah. There's also not a big pot of money for additional graduate medical education spots and residency. So we know that there's going to be a doctor shortage combined with a booming population of people aging that have need for what we serve. So we really have to think through, how do we think smarter about this?
Right.
It's not how do we work harder. I don't know a physician that doesn't work hard. You don't get through med school without working hard.
Right.
What we need to think is, how do we serve a greater population using some of the tools and working with it? So I was actually asked recently that I think AI would put doctors out of business. And I said, no, not a chance.
Yeah.
But doctors that use AI will put doctors that don't out of business.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. Absolutely. Well, speaking of technology, any new or recent innovations or exciting things coming down the spine care pathway?
Spine care is my personal practice and what I do. And you look at what we've been doing, and a lot of it has been iterative over time, and you don't have these massive step forwards, right? And part of that is FDA regulations. Part of that is payer mix. There's a whole bunch of things, and training of individuals. There's all these things that make it iterative. But what I'm excited about is thinking about not back pain is this homogeneous group. It is a heterogeneous group with lots of different patient populations in it, and really thinking through big data and how we can slice and dice that to get the best for our individual patients we serve in front of us. And that's, I think, the way to really think about this. It's not that, a steroid is good or a steroid is bad, or biologics are good or biologics are bad, or therapy or any of these things are good or bad. It's that the right patient, right time. And we're now, hopefully, with even some of the advances in AI and big data, being able to get enough data to actually drive some of these decisions so that you can make an informed decision with your patient. It's just hard.
Yeah, I think your point's spot on, though. I think the registries that exist within the academy, as well as with NAS and other organizations, are really going to help us to decipher some of those specifics of patient populations with spine injuries like this or spine problems like that will do better with these interventions or treatments. So that experience-based, clinically based practice guidelines are really going to be helpful.
Yeah, I think that's it. And I think there's a real need for expertise at interpreting these things.
Yes.
Because some of the AI, there's bias sometimes in terms of just volume wins, right? And we need to think differently than that. We need the experts to interpret, to make the right decisions for the patients. And if patient care is your north, your true north, which it is for me, seeing and treating patients and doing the best for them, then I think if we keep that as our true north, we will always be in the right.
Absolutely. A couple fun questions. So, like me, I know you're a bourbon aficionado.
I do.
And so what's your favorite bourbon and why?
So my favorite, and it's not a highly accessible one, but it is George T. Stagg.
Oh, there you go.
And
after my own heart.
it is a delicious one. And what I like about it is my wife and I can pull a half-ounce pour.
Yeah.
And just sip it. That's all I need.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to get drunk.
Right.
And it just helps with the let me relax and enjoy it.
Yeah.
It is a high proof bourbon. You do have to almost temper your mouth for it. And it is a special occasion because it's hard to find.
Hard to find, but it's got those deep, dark fruit flavors. It's got the molasses. To me, it's just like it's like fruit cake in a glass.
Yeah, it is. I hate to say that because I don't want people to go out and find it.
Right.
You know, stick with the other stuff, like but that's my special occasion. If I really could only have one.
It's good to hear that a Tennessee boy is actually saying a Kentucky bourbon's the best of best bourbon.
Well,
so
Tennessee whiskeys, most of them aren't my favorite.
Yeah.
Like I do.
Real high end Jack Daniels are really pretty good.
Coy Hill.
Yeah, Coy Hill's awesome. Yeah, so good to know. Well, we'll go out and have to share one here a little later.
Absolutely.
Next question. I know you're married and a father of 2 lovely daughters. We got to meet them last year at your presidential address. What's your favorite thing to do with the girls?
So anything I can do outside. Yeah. So my time is I'm generally working or spending time with my girls. And we are part of a boat club. We get out on the lake and jump in the water and swim. I want my daughters to be at one with nature. I mean, I grew up in a log cabin house on a dirt road. Wow. My parents still live in that log cabin house on a dirt road.
That's great.
With well water and everything else.
Yeah.
And just getting outside is important in any way possible. And I just love spending time with them. And as they continue to get older, they're driving more of what they want to do, and I just want to spend time with them.
That's great. Yeah, I'm more of a lakey, mountainy person myself, and I just love that outdoor time. So that's great.
That's great.
Well, as we end today, any words of advice to young career physiatrists who are kind of thinking about, how do they follow in similar footsteps down their career paths and toward leadership?
Yeah, I think everyone has their own unique path that is unique to them. But what I advise everyone is always pursue your passions. It doesn't mean you have to say, well, I'm not doing this or doing that, but you should do what is interesting to you and what you like. And if you look back over your career, like I did all these things and I found value in them. And lo and behold, they match up and set me up well for whatever I'm going to do next. And I think if you think that way, the other thing I think about is as our time gets more and more valuable, it's really important to think through as an attending physician, or even what additional things am I getting from this activity?
Yeah,
I really enjoy it, and it helps with my CV. I get leadership experience from it. I get connected with the right mentorship, and mentorship has been so key for me and my growth. But you should really think through, and if you can't come up with multiple things from a professional activity that you get from it, you're either not thinking about it enough, or it's maybe not the right use of your time at that point.
Right. Yeah. Very good. Well, DJ, I can't thank you enough for spending time with me today.
Well, it's a pleasure.
Thank you for joining us for Cardinal Conversations. Come back and join us again next when I will be meeting with Dr. Deb Venesi from the Cleveland Clinic. Take care, everybody.